Guys, how are you? Hope all is well. Last video in the series, we'll talk about construction and development, mostly of condos, and also I'll talk about the other sectors development, and with that we'll end the series. Nothing that I say in this video can be perceived as an advice for investment. This is all a think tank process, my thought, my opinion. That's it. Don't take it more than that. Would be happy to hear your opinion in the bottom. Please share that with me. I'm going to dive right into it. First of all, I'm going to try not to swing as much. Some people complain that I'm swinging too much and it makes them dizzy, so I'm going to make my best efforts not to do that. Let's dive into construction and development, first of condos. So any single thing. First of all, construction development is always perceived as a more risky, much riskier investment. Why? Because it's going to be ready only in the future, and there's so many things that that comprise, meaning when it comes to construction and development, so many details, so many issues, so many things can be delayed, so many things can happen in the middle, and therefore it's a far riskier investment, and usually the reward is a lot higher, and I'm involved in that kind of stuff mostly. Many times it's very complex. It's not a simple type of a sector, but when it comes to, for example, condo development, it all depends in what will happen in the future. Now, coronavirus, and that's our series. That's what we're talking about. Coronavirus times. Is it the time to invest? Is it not the time to invest? So, development, all in all, is one thing, is one aspect that the coronavirus, the COVID-19, is not so much at this point of an effect. Why? Because it's so unknown. We're so early to know. So many businesses lost their jobs. So many people are out of the ability of paying their mortgage. So many people closed their businesses. So many things happen. However, construction development is something futuristic. It's going to happen in 2 years, 3 years. It's a long time, guys. It's a very, very long time. By that time, the market could bounce back. The market could be better. We don't know. We don't know if there could be a nuclear war. We don't know. Now, should we calculate our investments according to what happened to the COVID-19? Should we always? Yes, we should always have a reserve for 24 months. Whoever can. It's not always possible, but we have to put our focus and effort to get that going. So when something crazy happens, we have the ability to survive. However, no one can predict an earthquake. And if you have a business plan that predicts an earthquake, for the most part, or nuclear war, or a COVID-19, or whatever it is that shuts down the country or the world, you are not going to do any business. You're not going to do any deal. You're not going to do any business. You're going to sit with a helmet in the corner of your house, not doing anything. That's what will happen to you. So we have to be optimistic in some way, otherwise we won't do business. So when it comes now to development, it's going to be ready in 2 years, 3 years. The world will be different. Look how different it was a couple of months ago. Look how different it is now, 2 years from now. Therefore, it's my opinion only, as I said, checking a development deal for, let's say, example, condos, you'll have to look at the market as what it was prior to COVID-19 and what it will be after, taking into consideration what happened now, and put it in the numbers, and what happened, meaning to the market in the meantime. If people lost their jobs, if the median income is less, and all that stuff. But all in all, it will be in 2 years. If the market could be great in 2 years, if it's a prime location, that's the key. If it's a prime location, the prime locations will be faster, will be back faster. Think it as whatever you want. Yes, the world will change in a way, but prime locations stay prime locations. That's my opinion, and they will perform a lot better faster, and therefore it's a much safer investment. I'm swinging again. I'm going to stop. So that's one thing. So it's in terms of condo development, location, location, location. If it's good, if it was great, if there was a lot of demand in that area, you can still look at that investment, cut and clear, carefully as always. Put a lot more numbers, a lot more contingencies, put a lot more things at risk, put a lot more of capital reserves. Yes, do all that, but you can look at that investment as opposed to the other things. And I'm going to wrap it up in the end also for the other things. But You have to look at it clear as an investment. Like, and now I'm going to jump for a second for development. Let's say for hotels or retail, all that stuff. It's the same idea. Office is the same thing. If you have an opportunity to get into a deal and the numbers make sense, for pre-COVID-19, you put a lot more contingencies, a lot more capital reserves, a lot more interest reserves, a lot more things that you need to do in order to see this deal is good. If this area is good, the comps make sense, and you put all the contingencies and it still makes sense, and the cap is right, and you're buying it for the right number in order to go into development. If this is all making sense, then the investment is correct. If the leader of the investment, the general partner, the LP, the GP, whoever you're joining, has the right partners, has the round table is of the best knights. The best knights, it's comprised of the best guys, then you can definitely consider going in. You can definitely look into it. You have to know the sectors very well. If you're into retail and it's going to be ready in 2 years, you have to have very, very good analysis of number projection to see what is the market going to be like in 2 years now. What type of tenant mix you presume would be the need. And you have to do it according to what was prior to COVID-19, because what happened during COVID-19 destroyed that business. If you had that, for example, retail shopping centers, it would be dead at this point, or it would be almost dead. Therefore, you have to be careful. You have to learn from the experience, and to go into that kind of development, into the construction period, you take a construction loan, and once you get out and you refi, once you have the tenant, you have to take a very conservative type of a loan, a permanent loan, a very conservative type of a loan. And if you can, try to stick to the 50% and try to put a lot more equity. It costs a lot of money, okay, but you have to try to do the safe thing, so if something else happens, you're safe. Again, check out the locations. Hotels, got to be a hotel big mama. Again, low permanent loans down the road. And in this sector, by the way, also in the retail, by the way, you have to also take into consideration the fact that so many failed, and there'll be so many empty ones. You may not want to build one right now, because across the street there are going to be all kind of deserted ones. Who knows what will happen? Therefore, if you have a development, it has to be very well thought out in those sectors, very well thought out. Could it be a different world in 2 years? It would definitely be a different world in 2 years. We don't know what world, but you have to take it into consideration. But you have to take it into consideration also there will be so many vacant type of properties. But again, it's a long time, guys. It's a long time. 2 years from now, 3 years from now is a long time. So we have to really have a good round table of best professionals of taking everything into consideration. Office, less crazy, less risky, less vacancies, I believe will be. But still, you have to look into what you have to look. Prime locations will win. Prime locations will win. Large type of tenants will win. Shared spaces, I believe, will lose. Okay, unless they're comprised, not as a shared space, but as a single offices for businesses, small and medium businesses, and very well distant, from one another. Always capital reserve, interest reserve, put everything aside, whatever you need to do. So to wrapping up this whole thing, and say goodbye for this series, as we call it. Any property that exists right now, I would completely stay away. It's only for the deep pockets people who have patient capital. Retail hotels, office is higher above that, is definitely much less of a risk, still high risk, much less of a risk, but still high risk if you have the capital to hold and patiently wait. And multifamily is definitely the winner, is the much more, they got hit for sure. People can't pay rent, but much less than the others. And development is on its own, guys. Development, who knows what will happen in 2 years. I wish you all guys luck, success. We'll talk to you next time. Different videos. Have a beautiful day.